All right, let's get right into this. Here's a story for you. An organization is created with one noble mission to act as a welfare body for military heroes. Sounds great, right? But today, that very same organization is tied up in hundreds of legal battles with the exact same heroes it was meant to serve. It's a huge paradox, and it's really at the heart of what we're talking about today. The Army Welfare Housing Organization, or AWHO, was set up to help Army personnel. So you gotta ask, why are the people it's supposed to be helping constantly taking it to court? And to really understand the scale here, you have to look at the money involved. The estimated value of the properties in this conflict is over 30,000 crore rupees. Yeah, this is not some small disagreement. We are talking about a massive fight over property, over money, and, as we'll see, over some really fundamental rights. Okay, so let's get the basics down. AWHO was founded way back in 1978. Its purpose was simple, and you have to say, pretty admirable: build affordable homes for both serving and retired Army personnel. And they built a lot of them, over 15,000 homes all across India. But, despite that mission, AWHO's history is just filled with litigation. We're talking a constant stream of lawsuits filed by the veterans and their families, the very people it was created to support. And these aren't just small claims court issues. These have gone all the way to the highest courts in the country. So what is really going on here? I mean, the complaints are all over the place. Project delays, costs suddenly going up, shoddy construction. But the sources we looked at all point to one single strategic decision that seems to fuel almost all of this. And believe it or not, it all comes down to a change in one word. And here it is, the central clue. The whole conflict really hinges on the difference between being called a member of a society and just being called an allottee. Now I know, it sounds like a tiny detail, just semantics, but as you're about to see, that one word changes absolutely everything. Think about it. In pretty much any registered society, a member has a voice. You're a citizen, not a subject, right? You can vote for the leadership, you have the legal right to look at the financial records, and you get to participate in how the whole thing is run. It's basically democracy in action. But see, AWHO doesn't call its homeowners members. It calls them allottees. And what's an allottee? Well, in AWHO's book, you're basically just a customer. You have no voting rights, no power to elect the people in charge, no right to see the books, and absolutely zero say in how the organization is managed. And when you put these two terms side by side, the contrast is just, wow, it's night and day. Look at this. Your voting rights, gone. The power to choose your own leadership, gone. Financial transparency, see you later. The entire democratic structure that a society is supposed to be built on just gets dismantled by changing one little word. And according to the source materials, this was no accident. This reclassification is actually described as a colorable device. That's a legal term for something that looks legit on the surface, but is really just a trick to hide something illegal or unethical. And the goal here? To get around the laws that demand democratic control. So what happens when you take away people's rights like that? Well, they fight back. And that fight has been happening in the courts, where these veterans have been challenging the system over and over and over again. And the results of those legal battles tell a pretty clear story. From the Supreme Court itself ordering AWHO to pay up for delays, to high courts saying it can't just jack up costs whenever it wants, the courts have repeatedly sided with the homeowners, backing up their rights against a management that isn't held accountable. This pattern of court cases, it reveals something much bigger than just arguments over apartments and maintenance fees. This is really about whether your rights as a citizen can be just taken away, simply because of your service to the nation. And the principle at the very heart of the veterans' fight is incredibly simple, but so powerful. Serving in the military is a duty, it's a sacrifice, but it is not a reason to forfeit your fundamental rights as a citizen of this country. This quote from the source material just says it all perfectly. Citizens do not lose their right to democratic governance because they served in the military. Military veterans retain all their civil and democratic rights upon returning to civilian life, period. So the crucial point here is that this isn't just about AWHO's internal rulebook. This whole dispute bumps right up against the Constitution of India. We're talking about the right to equality, the freedom to form associations, and the constitutionally protected right to manage societies democratically. To deny these things isn't just unfair, it's unconstitutional. So if the system is broken, how do you fix it? Well, the sources don't just point out the problem. They actually lay out a very clear and practical roadmap for reform, one that's designed to pull AWHO back in line with its original noble mission. The path forward is really concrete. Step 1, immediately recognize all homeowners as full members with voting rights. Step 2, hold real democratic elections. Step 3, open up the books, ensure total financial transparency. 4, follow the law. And finally, step 5, think about restructuring under a more modern, more accountable legal framework. It's a 5-step plan to bring back democracy and accountability. And that leaves us with one final, and I think critical question. AWHO was created to provide for the welfare of soldiers and veterans. But when that welfare is managed without any democratic accountability, without transparency, and without giving a voice to the very people it's supposed to benefit, who does it really serve?